All right. There's just something I want to communicate with you that I think might be of help to you, especially if you're someone who you're finding it difficult to do great things for God. You're finding it difficult to step out and obey the very things that God has told you to do. Now, you're sure that God wants you to do it, but you're just finding it difficult to step out because there is this feeling of guilt, condemnation, and there's this fear of you might be moving in the flesh. And let me just take you step backward a bit and make you understand how people get to become limited in their mind and become fearful to do great things for God. So what happens is God speaks to someone and tells them to do something, and they move and do that thing, and then they fail. And when they experience failure, what the devil tells them is, you've moved in the flesh. And because now they feel like they've moved in the flesh, when next they are supposed to do something again, now they are held back by the fear of not wanting to move in the flesh. But we know that perfect love casts out fear. That God has not given you the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. That if God will ever lead you, He won't lead you through fear. You shouldn't be afraid to do things that God has said you should do. And that even saying you don't want to move in the flesh is not a justification to not obeying God. It might sound religiously pious to you, but it's not spiritual. That's what I'm saying. It's not spiritual for you not to make a move because you say you are afraid you don't want to move in the flesh. That in itself is a fear that is not godly and can even cause you to err even the more. Does that make sense? And so I've seen many people out of not wanting to move in the flesh, they have remained unproductive, unfruitful in the vineyard of God. They can't remember the last time they obeyed God and did the things that God wanted them to do. To be honest, what many people call moving in the flesh, um, it's not all the time that it's that they moved in the flesh, or because what they meant by moving in the flesh is that they moved, they obeyed God, and it seemingly failed. If it's like that, then when God told Isaac to sow in the land and he will reap hundredfold, when he started digging a well and they strove with him and he had to go dig another well, he had to go dig. There was no time where Isaac says, God, you gave me your word. It looked as though there was something Isaac understood. Does that make sense? That would not even make him feel undeterred by what was happening as a challenge. What am I saying in summary? Failing at what God told you to do is not a proof that you walk in the flesh. And stop allowing the enemy to use that as a tool to hold you down from doing great things for God. If at all there is a more excellent way, is that even if it were the flesh, Paul says that that man, his work will be burnt, but his soul will be saved. But there is something more dangerous than that. Is the parable of the talent. Jesus was saying in that parable concerning the one that was given one, he said, at least, even if you're not going to do anything with my talent, can't you keep it in the bank? You see, it is more wickedness to do nothing with what God has given you than to do something with what God has given you, even though it's in the flesh. I implore you to choose. There is a more excellent way. Bless you.